After years of investing wisely, I finally purchased my dream mountain property. Silver Ridge Cabin Estate offered everything I wanted: privacy, nature, and peace. Moving day felt like the beginning of a new chapter. I had absolutely no idea what awaited me. I spent the entire morning settling into my new home. The mountain air and quiet surroundings were exactly what I had been looking for. Everything seemed perfect until unfamiliar vehicles arrived at the entrance. A convoy of SUVs pulled into my driveway without warning. Several professionally dressed individuals stepped out carrying folders and legal documents. They introduced themselves as HOA representatives. Their visit immediately caught me off guard. Karen informed me that the HOA considered part of my cabin property to be community land. She insisted I would need to vacate certain areas immediately. Naturally, I asked for supporting documentation. The conversation became very interesting after that. The HOA presented several community maps and notices. However, something about the paperwork didn't match my own records. Before making assumptions, I decided to verify everything. Facts matter more than opinions. Fortunately, I had brought copies of every property document with me. The previous owner had provided decades of historical records. Those documents would soon prove extremely important. Good paperwork is invaluable. One document immediately stood out from the rest. It described a long-term master lease agreement involving the surrounding properties. I read it twice to ensure I understood what it meant. The implications were remarkable. My attorney confirmed that the lease agreement deserved closer examination. He recommended obtaining certified county records before taking any action. That seemed like excellent advice. We immediately began our research. County records revealed something truly unexpected. The lease arrangement had been properly recorded decades earlier. Every amendment had been documented. The official records told an interesting story. The more we investigated, the clearer the situation became. Certified records supported ownership rights associated with the property. The next step would be resolving the matter professionally. Proper legal procedures would guide everything moving forward. My attorney immediately noticed something unusual in the lease agreement. The HOA properties were actually built on land governed by the original master lease. Everything had been legally recorded decades earlier. The situation was far different than Karen expected. County records confirmed the property's legal history. Every document matched the original land filings. The records had been preserved for generations. Facts were beginning to tell the complete story. My attorney recommended remaining professional throughout the entire process. Proper documentation would resolve everything eventually. There was absolutely no need for unnecessary confrontation. Patience would work in our favor. Meanwhile, the HOA board continued reviewing its own records. Questions about historical property arrangements began to surface. Everyone wanted to understand the legal history correctly. Clear information benefits everyone involved. Independent surveyors were hired to verify the official property lines. Modern technology provided highly accurate measurements. Their findings aligned perfectly with the county records. Accuracy removed any remaining uncertainty. New survey markers clearly identified the property's legal boundaries. Everyone could now easily understand where the land began and ended. Transparency helped prevent future misunderstandings. Organization makes all the difference. We submitted every document through the appropriate legal channels. Certified records speak louder than assumptions. The proper legal process protects everyone involved. Our preparation gave us confidence moving forward. The HOA representatives also arrived fully prepared. Both parties presented their documentation professionally. Everyone had an opportunity to explain their position. Respect remained important throughout the proceedings. Historical records painted a very clear picture of the property's legal history. The documentation stretched back many decades. Every important detail had been preserved. Preparation made the hearing far more efficient. The original master lease agreement became one of the hearing's most important documents. It explained how portions of the surrounding community had been developed. Certified records supported its validity. Everyone listened carefully. The judge carefully reviewed every certified document. Questions focused on ownership history and recorded lease arrangements. Independent surveys supported the historical records. The facts remain remarkably consistent. The surveyor explained how the property boundaries were verified. Modern surveying technology confirmed decades of historical documentation. The measurements left little room for confusion. Precision proved extremely valuable. Several important historical records had not previously been considered. Reviewing the complete documentation provided valuable clarity. Understanding property law often requires careful research. Accurate information benefits everyone. Standing on the cabin porch reminded me why I purchased this property. Protecting its history and legal integrity mattered deeply. Responsible ownership carries important responsibilities. Some investments are about more than money. In the end, patience, professionalism, and proper documentation guided every decision. Historical records provided the clarity everyone needed. Respect for legal agreements protects both property owners and communities. Some of the strongest victories come through preparation and integrity. After the legal questions were clarified, it was time to focus on moving forward. Open communication created a better understanding among everyone involved. Respecting property rights benefits entire communities. Cooperation became our new priority. I decided to invest in improving the property's appearance and accessibility. New signage and clearly marked boundaries helped avoid future confusion. Small improvements can make a big difference. The cabin finally felt like home. Looking across the mountains reminded me why I chose this place. Protecting both history and community matters equally. Good neighbors begin with mutual respect. Peace is always worth preserving. Every property has a story hidden within its history. Sometimes, understanding that history requires patience and careful research. Responsible ownership means protecting what has been entrusted to you. That lesson will always stay with me. In the end, professionalism, preparation, and respect for the law made all the difference. The mountain cabin remained exactly where it belonged, protected and preserved for future generations. Some victories aren't about winning arguments. They're about protecting what's rightfully yours. Home is always worth protecting.